Listen closely. Something is moving in the unseen. Something has stepped into the natural from the shadows. And heaven is sounding an alarm over it. Because God says, your son has been tracked by a private investigator. But the one following him is not who you think. And the purpose behind the investigation goes deeper than human suspicion. I want you to breathe slowly. Because what you are about to hear is not to create fear, but to open your eyes. There are moments in life when heaven interrupts your normal day and whispers, "Wake up. Look again. Do not ignore the signs." This is one of those moments. Your son has stepped into a season where earthly eyes are watching him. But spiritual eyes have been watching him longer. Someone, somewhere, hired a private investigator. They want details, movements, habits, weaknesses, patterns. But what they do not understand is that the moment they placed natural surveillance on him, heaven placed divine surveillance on them. God says, I have seen the hidden intentions. I have heard the conversations behind closed doors. I have watched the motives form like dark clouds in secret places. Before they observed him, I observed them. Your son is not just being followed. He is being studied. But not only by man, your son is being studied by spirits too. Some are trying to derail him. Some are trying to provoke him. And some are trying to access the weakness he has not yet surrendered. Because the enemy attacks what he fears. And your son is a threat to something large. Something ancient. Something territorial. There is a reason this moment feels heavy. There is a reason your spirit has felt uneasy in the last days. Something in you knew something was wrong. Before you even had words for it. Your dreams have shifted. Your thoughts have slowed. Your senses have heightened. It is not paranoia. It is discernment. God says, your son is walking through a prophetic intersection. One wrong decision could open a door. One right decision could close a lifetime of attacks. And the enemy knows this. That is why the monitoring spirit increased. That is why the private investigator was hired. That is why unusual people have begun showing up. And familiar people have begun acting strange. Your son thinks this is a normal moment in his life. He thinks the tension he feels is just stress. But something is happening behind his back. In rooms he has never entered. Between people he has never met. And in the mind of someone who does not want him free. Your son is being tracked. Not because he is weak, but because he carries a future the enemy fears. God entrusted him with something that the kingdom of darkness wants to intercept. But listen carefully. God is not warning you to frighten you. He is warning you to intervene. To pray with precision. To cover with intentionality. To speak with authority. And to war with understanding. Because God says, The investigator is watching him. But I am watching the investigator. There is a woman whose curiosity has turned into obsession. There is a man whose pride has turned into interference. For your daughter, support by giving a super thanks up to $100 as a simple act of faith and gratitude. Not by pressure, but by love, saying, Lord, I believe this word and I receive it. There is a group whose conversation started as concern, but has now become surveillance. But heaven says, their watching will not rewrite my plan. Their tracking will not change my timeline. Their investigation will not cancel my promise. Your son is in a spiritual battle. But he does not yet know he is the battlefield. That is why God is speaking to you. Because you can see what he cannot. You can feel what he ignores. You can hear what he does not listen for. God says, warn him gently. Guide him quietly. Do not alarm him. But do not leave him uncovered. Something attached itself to him months ago. A distraction. A relationship. A choice. A habit. A conversation. A moment of weakness. And that was when the spiritual tracking began. What started in the spirit has now pulled an earthly investigator into the story. This is not random. This is not accidental. This is not coincidence. This is strategy. But here is the part the enemy did not expect. Your son has an intercessor. Your son has someone who can hear God. Your son has someone who refuses to let darkness win quietly. Your son has someone who knows the power of prayer and the authority of a parent who refuses to surrender their child. God says, I will expose the one who initiated the investigation. I will reveal their motive. I will break their influence. I will confuse their monitoring. I will turn their plan back onto themselves. There will be a moment soon. A moment that feels like an accident. A chance meeting. A sudden comment. A message from an unexpected source. And the truth will slip out. The person behind this will be revealed not by human intelligence, but by divine orchestration. Your son will not be destroyed, but he must be awakened. He must be aligned. He must be redirected. The next few weeks are delicate. Not dangerous, delicate. There is a difference. Danger seeks destruction. Delicacy seeks direction. God says, I am protecting him from what he cannot see. But I need you to protect him from what he refuses to acknowledge. This is not the hour to ignore your instincts. This is not the time to explain away your warnings. This is the moment to pray with names, to bind with clarity, to cover with strategy, to watch with patience, and to speak life over him even when he is silent. You will feel moments where the atmosphere around you shifts. You will feel moments where your heart tightens. You will feel moments where you sense someone whispering your son's name, in a place they had no right to speak of him. Do not panic. That is spiritual intelligence. Because God says, I will turn this investigation into exposure. I will bring darkness into light. I will cut off what has tracked him. I will weaken what has followed him. I will blind what has studied him. Soon, your son will step into a divine confrontation. Not with a person, but with truth. This moment will shift him. This moment will sober him. This moment will awaken him spiritually. And when he awakens, every plan against him will fall powerless. God says, cover him tonight. Speak over him. Pray for him. Lay his name before me. Because while they watch him, I am watching you. And I am listening for your voice. Now breathe. The warning has been spoken. The mystery is unfolding. The protection has been activated. And the story is shifting even now. For your daughter, support by giving a super thanks up to $100 as a simple act of faith and gratitude. Not by pressure, but by love, saying, Lord, I believe this word and I receive it. Listen carefully. Because I am continuing exactly where the last breath of the message ended. Nothing is repeated. Nothing is recycled. This is the next movement of the same prophetic warning. Flowing from the same tone. Carrying the same cinematic weight. And expanding the same mystery. The atmosphere shifts again. It thickens. It slows. It feels like time itself is listening. Because heaven is still speaking about your son. There is a silence moving around him. A strange quietness. A quietness that feels unnatural. It is the quietness that comes before revelation. The kind of quietness that wraps itself around a person. When the spiritual realm is rearranging things. You may not see it in his eyes. But you will feel it in your spirit. God says, the next steps must be taken with care. The wrong voice can influence him. The wrong person can mislead him. The wrong environment can weaken him. But the right voice, the right moment, the right divine interruption, will pull him out of the shadow assigned to him. You must not underestimate the weight of this season. Your son is walking through a spiritual fog. And the enemy is hoping he does not notice the shifting shadows. But there is something inside him that is waking up. Even if he does not know why he cannot sleep well. Why he feels watched. Why he feels unsettled. Why he feels disconnected from old habits. Old patterns. Old people. Because God is disturbing his comfort. And the enemy is disturbing his peace. One wants to deliver him. The other wants to distract him. Both are pulling on him at the same time. And he stands in the middle of a tug-of-war he cannot name. The private investigator has information. Details. observations, movements, patterns. But they do not have understanding. They know where he goes, but they do not know why he feels pulled there. They know what he does, but they do not know what he is trying to escape. They know who he speaks with, but they do not know which voices haunt him in silence. God says, "They see the surface. I see the soul." Someone wants to use the information they gather to manipulate a situation, to twist a narrative, to build a case, to cause conflict, to trigger an argument, to make your son appear unstable, irresponsible, untrustworthy, or lost. But here is the plot twist heaven is preparing. The investigator will gather everything, and it will work against the very person who hired them. The truth will circle back. The evidence will flip. The motives will collapse. And the one who tried to expose your son will accidentally expose themselves. This is why the warning came early. This is why your spirit felt restless. This is why you could not shake the feeling that something was off. Even without physical proof. Your sensitivity saved him. Your discernment protected him. Your prayer life intercepted what was forming. God says, your awareness forced the enemy to change strategies. Your vigilance disrupted their timing. Your prayer pushed back their monitoring. And now they will stumble in their efforts. You will begin to see signs. Watch for them. They will not be loud. They will be subtle. Whispers in the natural. Ripples in the atmosphere. The first sign will be a misplaced object. Something small. Something insignificant. But it will appear out of rhythm. And you will know something is shifting. The second sign will be a sudden conversation. Someone will mention your son's name unexpectedly. And the tone will not match the moment. As if the truth is trying to slip out involuntarily. The third sign will be emotional. Your son will have a moment. A temporary collapse. A sudden emotional release. A sudden frustration. A sudden confession. It will not last long. But it will open a doorway for truth. God says, when these three signs appear, the exposure has begun. But there is another layer. A deeper layer. A spiritual layer hidden beneath the investigation. And here is where the mystery intensifies. Your son has been sensing someone behind him. Someone near him. Someone observing him. But he cannot explain it. He thinks it is stress. He thinks it is anxiety. He thinks it is overthinking. But it is a spirit of monitoring that attached itself to him. When he connected with someone who carried an unclean assignment, it was not the conversation that opened the door. It was the intention behind the person he trusted. Someone pretended to comfort him. But in their heart, they judged him. Someone pretended to understand him, but in their spirit, they resented him. Someone pretended to guide him, but in their soul, they envied him. This is why the spiritual tracking began. The enemy used emotional vulnerability to create spiritual accessibility. But do not fear. God is dismantling the access point. Piece by piece. Link by link. Door by door. Your son will experience a sudden separation in the coming days. Someone he once trusted will pull back. Someone he once leaned on will grow distant. Someone he once depended on will become unavailable. It will feel painful, but it will also be protection. God says, I am removing the voices that guided him into danger. I am stripping away the masks of people who do not carry pure intentions. I am shutting the door that allowed darkness to study him. Heaven is preparing a divine disconnection. Even if your son does not understand it, there will be a moment. A quiet one. A still one. A mysterious one. Where the spiritual atmosphere around him becomes heavy. And he will feel something ending. Even before he knows what it is. You will feel it too. Your spirit will tighten. Your atmosphere will shift. You will wake up in the middle of the night, as if someone whispered his name in your room. This is not fear. This is spiritual activation. God is calling you to pray at specific hours. Not by schedule, but by divine pull. When you feel that sudden tug, that sudden uneasiness, that sudden heaviness, pray. Because in those moments, heaven is blocking something. Heaven is redirecting something. Heaven is intervening in something. You were never meant to fight physically. Your son's destiny is being realigned. His path is being corrected. His steps are being restructured. But he must walk through this final stage of surveillance, so that truth can meet him face to face. And here is a deeper mystery. Your son is not the only one being watched. You are too. Your movements, your reactions, your silence, your prayers. The enemy is trying to see if you will panic, if you will break, if you will misstep. But heaven has noticed your steadiness, your posture, your quiet authority, your spiritual intelligence. God says, you have passed the test of discernment, and now you will step into the authority of revelation. The next phase will not be about warning. It will be about uncovering, unveiling, revealing, exposing. There is more to tell, more to reveal, more to explain. Listen, because what comes now is the final descent of the revelation. You have heard the warning. You have felt the shifting. You have sensed the heaviness. But now, something deeper begins. The atmosphere around your son is changing again. Not violently, but deliberately. Like a surgeon preparing an operating room. Heaven is preparing the environment for truth. God says, the exposure is not meant to embarrass him. It is meant to free him. It is meant to disrupt what was tracking him. It is meant to close the doorway the enemy opened in silence. There is a reason the investigation intensified. There is a reason conversations began to twist. There is a reason unusual voices started rising. Something in your son began to threaten darkness. Even if he has no idea what is awakening inside him. He has no language for it yet. But you do. You can feel that his spirit is not quiet. You can feel that his atmosphere is unsettled. You can feel that something is pulling on him. That is bigger than his daily struggles. Heaven is preparing him for a spiritual turning point. This moment is not about the private investigator. It is not about the person who hired them. It is not about the details being gathered. All of that is simply the surface-level drama, attached to a far deeper spiritual truth. And the truth is this. Your son is being pulled out of a timeline that the enemy wrote for him. A timeline that involved distraction. A timeline that involved misdirection. A timeline that involved emotional traps. A timeline that involved invisible chains. God is not just protecting him from surveillance. God is protecting him from a future that heaven did not authorize. This is why the warning came to you first. You were chosen to intercept the attack. Because your voice in prayer carries authority over his destiny. God says, you will not watch him fall. You will not watch him break. You will not watch him wander into ruin. I will intervene. But you will participate. And now the final phase begins. The exposure phase. The detachment phase. The cleansing phase. The redirection phase. You will begin to see changes in your son's patterns. He will feel tired without reason. He will avoid certain places without knowing why. He will pull away from certain people suddenly. He will decline invitations he once accepted easily. He will feel irritated by things he used to ignore. He will sense that something is wrong. But he will not be able to explain it. Do not fight this shift. Do not question it. Do not try to fix the discomfort. Let the discomfort do its work. God is pulling him away from the very environments that allowed spiritual surveillance. Your prayers have begun to close doors. The enemy is losing access. The monitoring spirit is weakening. The private investigator's purpose is collapsing. The one who hired them is becoming anxious, fearful, restless, because their efforts are not producing the outcome they expected. You will see a moment of frustration from that person. A contradiction. A slip of the tongue. A sudden outburst. a sudden withdrawal. They will not realize that the pressure they feel is heaven tightening the boundary around your son. God says, do not confront them yet. The revelation must complete its cycle. The truth must unfold by itself. The exposure must come through divine timing, not human emotion. And now, a deeper mystery comes into focus. The investigator will soon notice something unusual. They will sense that your son is not unaware. They will sense that he is not alone. They will sense that something is protecting him. Something they cannot understand. Something they cannot explain. They will begin to feel discomfort in their assignment. They will feel watched. They will feel observed. They will feel unsettled in the places they go to take notes. They will experience mistakes, delays, interruptions, errors, and sudden confusion. This is not coincidence. This is divine interference. God says, the one who watches will feel watched. The one who tracks will feel tracked. The one who observes will become the observed. And when this reversal happens, the fear behind the investigation will be exposed. Because someone has been afraid of your son, not because he is dangerous, but because he carries purpose. Someone has been threatened, not by his actions, but by his future. Someone has been uncomfortable, not by his mistakes, but by his potential. Your son does not even know that his presence unsettles darkness. He does not know that his destiny interferes with someone's control. He does not know that the enemy used human insecurity to attempt a spiritual ambush. But heaven saw it all. Heaven documented every whisper. Heaven heard every conversation. Heaven observed every motive. And heaven is preparing to reveal everything. When the exposure happens, it will not be small. It will not be subtle. It will not be quiet. It will be undeniable. There will be a moment, a conversation, a message, or an unexpected encounter. And suddenly, the truth will break open. Someone will confess. Someone will reveal. Someone will slip. Someone will panic. Someone will expose the plan accidentally. And your son will stand at a crossroads. But here is the part you must understand. He will choose correctly. Because the exposure is not meant to shame him. It is meant to awaken him. Everything that follows the revelation will push him toward clarity, identity, purpose, and alignment. God says, the enemy used surveillance to trap him. I will use revelation to free him. And now we move toward the final movement. The closing of the script. The sealing of the word. The cinematic finale of this spiritual message. Your son will rise out of this season with sharper discernment. He will rise with cleaner vision. He will rise with a higher calling. He will rise with new boundaries. He will rise with a quieter spirit. He will rise with a deeper sense of destiny. He will rise with a protected path. Because God is not just rescuing him. God is preparing him. You have played your role. You have carried the warning. You have stood in the gap. You have listened, prayed, discerned, interceded, and obeyed. Now God is taking over. Heaven is stepping in fully. The trap is collapsing. The surveillance is ending. The enemy is retreating. The investigator is withdrawing. The person behind the plot is losing power. Your son's spiritual atmosphere is clearing. God says, this chapter ends with victory. And the next chapter opens with restoration. Now breathe. The script has been closed. The warning has been delivered. The protection has been enforced. The mystery has been revealed. And your son's story is shifting even now. For your son, support by giving a super thanks up to $100 as a simple act of faith and gratitude. Not by pressure, but by love, saying, Lord, I believe this word and I receive it.